like without me influencing you at all. What were your first thoughts on that whole video in Keller, Texas?
I mean, outrage. I mean, just pure, unbelieving. I can't say I didn't believe it, because I believe anything now, pretty much, that could possibly happen. But just to see it it's remarkable that we're getting this kind of stuff now, because I mean, this is the way they operate, and to see it blatantly put out there, um, it does nothing but strengthen the fact that we need more people like us out there, and we need more support so stuff like this doesn't go on. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, it was literally crazy, that video that you just put up, the Keller, Texas video. I mean, I haven't seen much to compare to the stupidity that officer showed to that family.
Right. Because I mean, we've seen videos. We've seen the George Floyd video. We've seen things that are worse than that. The Rodney King video. But to me, it's the psychology and the maliciousness and the just wanton disregard for other people's rights and freedoms to try and save your own skin. Because once he saw that's Keller, Texas. The median household income is $124,000. The rest of Texas is in the 70s. So it's about what, $50,000 more than the median. Those were nice houses. That's not the type of neighborhood you do that in. And just when he learned, when he kind of the adrenaline came down and he kind of learned and realized where he was at and what he was doing, and it was coming over him. Now all of a sudden he wants to arrest the kid. Now the kid's got to get arrested because he has to find something in that car. He wants to find something in that car. He's praying to, like the mother said from the other side of the street, you better pray you find something in that car. They all knew what was going on, because it can't come out that a boy made a long turn, a wide turn, and his father got maced. He got the cop had his hand on his gun. He got arrested. And there was nothing else to it, right? He was praying for drugs.
Right. And the whole situation, as you know, was just, it was ridiculous from the start. The fact that the kid rolled up his window, inconsequential. Doesn't matter if he gets see into the car or not. Doesn't matter. It's his right, like the kid was saying, so I mean,
and if you listen to the way the cop told the story back, I tried to make it where you could see what really happened and what the cop said. Because anybody, it's human nature. When a third party comes that was not there, you're going to tell your side of the story, and your mind is just going to embellish. And he said that he told the kid twice to roll down the window. That never happened. He told the kid one time to roll down the window. The kid rolled down the window.
Right. Right. And he said he was acting nervous, but I mean, when you look at the kid, when he responds to the officer, he doesn't look nervous at all.
Yeah, and not only that, he tells the other officer, go over there because you're impartial party and see if you smell marijuana. The other officer said no. And then when it's the S started hitting the fan, the cop said to the lieutenant, the sergeant said to the lieutenant, I'm sure there's drugs in the car. Okay. You said he has a history of drugs. That's marijuana. The third party said he did not smell marijuana. Where is the reasonable suspicion? Where is any clue to say that there's drugs in that car? Where did those go? Where did that come from? You completely made it up, no?
No, I mean, what and then something like that out in court is going to bust them wide open. But like you said, this is indicative of a bigger problem that we're having. And it's not just this guy. This guy just happened to get caught this time. I mean, I can't imagine what it's like in some of the poorer areas. I mean, this stuff is going on all the time. Like the officer. I think the only thing that could have made this video probably worse is if he would have got caught planting drugs on the kid on the camera. Because other than that, I mean, this was a shit show from beginning to end. I mean, this should be made a training video on how not to conduct a traffic stop, A to B, Yeah.
And then how about he was in control of everything. He radioed to the jail and he was in charge over there. He said, put the dad in a restraint chair if need be. He needs to make this big. He needs to make it look like he's fighting things off, like the dad's there still fighting, and the lieutenant was just not going. You could tell the lieutenant knew he was feeding him bull, because the lieutenant first said, "Oh no, he's calmed down 100 times. There's absolutely no need for a restraint chair." And then he goes, "Well, the dad's truck is parked over there. I think that should be part of the scene, because now if it's part of the scene, he can search that truck because they're about to take it away, right?" And
Yep.
Lieutenant was like, "No, I don't really see it. I don't see a need for that." And then the final thing that sergeant said to him is, "I want to let you know you're going to get a lot of calls on this tonight." And the lieutenant said, "I'm staying out of it as much as I can." So he was, you know what I'm saying? He knew to take everything with, tongue in cheek. He knew that the guy wasn't necessarily telling the whole truth. And the lieutenant didn't back him up much at all, right? Did you notice that?
Yeah, no, he didn't back him up, but from what it looked like, it was just avoiding liability for himself. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, you're a fucking lieutenant. Be a leader. Hop your ass out of the fucking truck. Go over there, examine the situation, and get it under control. That's your job. It's not to sit in the fucking truck and eat donuts all day and roll by and say, "Well, I'm not going to worry about it because I didn't have nothing to do with it."
Yeah. He was. I think he knew how bad it was, and he was trying to avoid all responsibility whatsoever. And how about the officer saying, "Oh, when we get you to the car, we'll give you a towel"? Never gave him a towel. Never gave him a towel. Told him just transport him to the lockup. And then all of a sudden, I think when it started dawning on him, he's complaining about having OC spray on his arm, and he starts wiping his arm off, and it's always, "Oh, my arm." And then it gets to the point where he's searching the car, and he gets to the back seat, and he starts going, "Oh, this OC spray." He's like, "I can't see." He's making it as if there might be drugs in the car. He just can't see. You know what I'm saying? The OC spray's in his eyes now. Like he had no shame in his game.
But you know what was funny as well? I was watching that, and while you were saying that in the video, I was thinking to myself, is this cop dumb enough to rub his forearm? Because it looked like a hot day. So is this guy smart enough to not rub his forehead with that arm and get that spray on his forehead dripping into his eyes from his sweat? Because I don't know. I don't see that level of intelligence out of that guy.
Yeah. And you could tell he was just bossing everybody around and controlling. He just had way too much control. Like a lot of times when there's shootings, that officer is removed from the situation because he is way too emotionally involved in it, right? This guy he didn't mace the guy, but he ordered the guy to mace the guy. You know what I'm saying? He's way too emotionally involved in it. Another sergeant came on scene with a bald head, have him take over. You know what I'm saying? The guy wasn't in the right state of mind to make those decisions, because he was making those decisions not off of the rule of law, but off of he didn't want to ruin his career. And I'm looking for I'm going to get there's Keller, Texas. I want to read you guys what's going on to it now. What else? What did you guys go do today?
We did a couple of city halls. We hit a police department. We did a couple post offices. We tried to hit the housing authority down there, but they were locked up. I've been noticing, half the buildings are shut down, the other half are open. But what's really strange to me today was City Hall, their lobby was open, but right across the street, the police department, their lobby wasn't open. And I'm like, what in the hell's going on? You guys are the tough guys. You guys are the heroes. You guys are the ones that that run into the face of danger, and your lobby's closed. And over here, you've got 70-year-old Miss Secretary over here, and her lobby's open.
Yeah, exactly. So right here, Majorly Awesome, we got from the Daily Morning News. So when I left off, they were taking the kid to jail for too wide of a turn. How they make that a criminal offense is beyond me, but they can in Texas.
I mean, how would you even determine that? I mean, there's got to be some kind of determinating factor, like a degreed angle.
It's all subjective, because I don't think they were talking about crossing over a line, because they would have said that. I think he was going on a regular two-way street that was just a side street, and he subjectively, somebody even said, you guys would have to go back and look, somebody even said that he called in that call of a traffic infraction before the kid even made the turn. I don't know that to be fact, but here it is from the Daily Morning News. Man sues Keller officers after he was arrested, pepper sprayed, and what he says was retaliation. Body cam video showing police push him to the ground after he recorded his son's traffic stop has gone viral on social media. A Keller man has filed a lawsuit against two police officers who pushed him to the ground and pepper sprayed him after he filmed his son's arrest following a traffic stop. Marco Puento, 39, is suing Blake Schminek and Antique Tomer in federal court. So it's a federal lawsuit. I would bet you dimes to donuts it's a 1983 deprivation of rights lawsuit, because 99% of the time that's what it would be. But alleging that Keller officers used excessive force and retaliated against him. The lawsuit also says Dylan Puente was racially profiled during the traffic stop, and that Schmimek arrested him and took him to jail for making a wide right turn solely to search his car for narcotics, which he didn't find. And that's 100% true, because he wasn't going to jail before it all dawned on him that this is a big problem and the lieutenant's not backing him up. Body camera video of Puente's arrest has gone viral on social media and online. Petition demanding that Schmimek be fired and face criminal charges has drawn more than 12,000 signatures. If you guys want to sign that, go to the Daily Morning News and just put Keller, Texas officer pepper sprays. It's unfortunate that they had anything to apologize for, said Scott Palmer, one of the attorneys who's representing Puente. No one's saying that they didn't take the right approach after the fact, but the fact is that this should have never happened in the first place. The mayor said Keller, police initiated an internal investigation into the case, which found that Schmimek arrested an individual for not committed. The mayor said Keller police investigation into the case where an offense was not committed. That ultimately led police chief to demote Schmimek from the rank of sergeant to officer. That's going to kill that guy, because he loved telling people what to do. He may reapply for the sergeant rank after a year. Oh, he's going to be a sergeant after a year, no doubt. The city released Schmimek's body camera and dash camera footage Wednesday, as well as a copy of the internal affairs complaint and findings that center on his conduct during the arrest. The attorneys who are representing Puente shared additional body camera and dash cam footage from two other officers, including Tomer, with the Daily Morning News. So there's other footage out there from those two other officers. Keller PD is a state-recognized and nationally accredited department. They're a nationally accredited department. How do you become nationally accredited, I wonder? And those designations come with extensive protocols and policies. Mizani said in his statement, police encounters like these, however, remind us that a city and as a department, we must continually work to strengthen our standards. Another attorney for Puentes, James Roberts, this guy's got more attorneys than OJ, said the purpose of the lawsuit is to increase officers' accountability and make a ton of money. You're not going to have more than one lawyer unless there's a dollar sign behind it. It's about making sure that when an officer steps out of line and something wrong, he is held accountable, and other officers see that and realize that they can do something wrong, or they're going to be held accountable, Robert said. But they'll be held accountable, not financially. We pay for that, right? We're the ones going to end up paying for that. The footage of the arrest showed that after Schminak pulled over Marco Puente's son, Dylan Puente, he walked up to his car, telling him to roll his window down. When Dylan Puente was stopped, he kept the window about a fourth of the way up. Then Dylan, who was 22 at the time, complied with Schminak, ordered him to get, and then Schminak ordered him to get out of the car. Why are you acting so suspicious? Schminak asked as he handcuffed him. Because I'm scared, Dylan Puente replied. And that was one of the things in Texas.gov rules of the road. If you're scared, you don't have to roll your window all the way down. That's literally what it said, word for word. Marco Puente then pulled up in his truck, and his son told him the officer got upset after he rolled up his window while he was being pulled over. Schmimak told Marco Puente he was about to be arrested for blocking the roadway and told him to go park elsewhere. After Marco Puente parked elsewhere and walked back to where the officer was questioning his son, he had his cell phone out to record the incident. When the second officer, Tomer, arrived, Schmimak told him to watch Marco Puente, who was standing on the sidewalk across the street from Schmimak. Watch me what? Watch me stand here? He said. Yep, Schmimak said. Better yet, arrest him. And it went just like that. Watch him. Better, just arrest him. There was no action that he took in between the time he said watch him and arrest him, which is ridiculous. It just went like a breeze, right? I'm not even doing anything, Marco Puente said as Tomer sprayed him twice. Dude, what the heck, man? What is this? What is this about? Marco Puente repeatedly told the officer his eyes were burning and asked for a towel as they walked him to a squad car and put him in the back. I'm asking for medical assistance, Marco Puente said in a video. I can't even breathe, bro. Tomer told Puente he'd get medical help at the jail. When they arrived at the jail, the officers waited several minutes before helping Puente. From the moment he was pepper sprayed to when another officer at the jail helped him rinse his eyes was more than 15 minutes. More than 15 minutes had passed. 15 minutes. He was begging for help the entire time. Puente said that during the arrest, one of the officers took off his sunglasses to pepper spray him that tore his nostrils, leaving him with a scar. Tore his nostrils and leaving him with a scar. So, okay, what did you think there? What and when you seen that, what did you think, Rogue, when he did that, when he's like, okay, just watch him, and then he went from just watch him to get him?
Yeah, well, I mean, the first thing I thought is screwed up. This guy done messed up.
He done messed up.
Second, yeah, and when he was talking to the lieutenant, he was saying about how the guy kind of came over and interfered with his scene, but I only saw his dad across the street. Am I wrong? Did his dad cross over to the street?
No,
and come near the scene?
That's what he said. He said his dad entered and exited the scene several times. His dad never crossed the street. His dad never crossed the street.
Right. So, I mean, yeah, this case, again, like, I mean, from start to finish, it was a total fuckery. But, I wanted to touch on a couple of points before I forget them. And it goes to the psychology of this gentleman. But in the video, you heard him say that it was his day off, that he had came in to help out.
Yeah.
And you see that this traffic stop is his quote unquote way of helping out. Okay. So take that into consideration. And then later in the video, he calls either his girlfriend or his wife or whatever. And he says, baby, I'm going to be home a little bit later. I'm okay. Yada, yada, yada. And he's playing the hero card to his wife or his girlfriend. He gets home. Oh, you won't believe it. Arresting this kid. Dad pulls up. And, it's exaggerated. Dad might have a gun at that point. You know what I mean? Like, I barely made it, I mean, it was laughable at that point that he was saying that, and I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, this guy's trying to pass himself off, or what he's done here, as some kind of hero type shit. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
oh, it was a good thing I was in there on my day off, and you know what I mean? It was a
Yeah.
crazy scene, and
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
I'm
That was
okay,
wild. That
but
was a wild
you know,
scene. And he told the kid, he's like, put yourself in my shoes. Put yourself in my shoes. Well, what do you mean? I don't want to put myself in your shoes. Put yourself in my shoes. I'm scared. I didn't pull you over. You pulled me over. If you're scared, go to church. Turn in your tin badge and go get a job at Aldi's. You know, you work this little subdivision with 500, 600, $700,000 homes, and you're scared. Like, Boston would chew you up. Philadelphia would strip you naked and have you running through the streets screaming. LA would have you on a psychiatrist chair for a month straight. Miami if you went to any of these cities, like, they would destroy you if that's how you react to that situation. You know what I'm saying? Because not everybody, listen, this is what I say a lot of times. There's some things in life that is worth taking 12 jurors for. There's some things in life that is worth taking 12 jurors for. I'm sorry. I just believe that. And you macing my dad in front of me for not doing anything is one of those things where, okay, I'm going to have to get up over here and jump in that. Because you can't just be macing my dad. You might want to mace me, but there's just some things in life that it's worth picking 12 jurors for. And I believe in it enough that I believe they're going to come back and find me not guilty. And if they find me guilty, then that's just something I was willing to pay for. Right? I think that's with all men. I think that's with all men, because men are providers and protectors, right? If they see something happen, there's just certain things. Let's pick 12 and take it to trial. I'm not taking no cop outs. Pick 12 and let's go to trial. Let me see.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, some stuff you can't, let go or let slide.
Yeah. So let me ask you this real quick so we get this. What's the scariest thing that's ever happened to you while you were out auditing? Guys, somebody tell me, how do I get the Mike V Dog's thing off my oh, is this it? Okay, sorry. Go ahead. What's the scariest thing while you've been out there? I hate auditing. I hate using the word auditing. And because we're in a regular room, I feel like I don't have to. Like, I'm not an auditor. I've never been an auditor. I've never audited a day in my life. An auditor is somebody who comes in and to a government facility, some people that aren't used to being recorded, and they try and play the background. They'll go to the soda machine and say, oh, it's got Pepsi, Sprite. And they'll try and not be a part of the environment and wait to see if somebody comes up to them and tries to stop them from recording. The minute I walk in, it's, what do you say? What do you do? What do you do? What do you say? How's it going? Everybody knows I'm there. Like, I make that my intention to let everybody know I'm there. But what was the scariest thing that's ever happened to you, bro, when you've been out there? Can you think of something?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, right off the top of my head, when we were at the DMV in Orange City, the workers shut down the lines. They weren't taking any customers anymore. And it was a packed house. And, some of these people were on their lunch breaks.
Yes.
And I mean, everyone pulled up, and I mean, it almost turned into a riot. Yeah. And and that, at that time, a lot of people would be like, oh, I'm bad, or, even I have a gun or something like that. But when you're facing a mob,
Rogue, explain to the people why these people don't go out and audit. Why would that be scary for you? Why would that be scary for you?
It's because when you're dealing with
in there, is mad at you now, like really mad at you.
Yeah. Yeah, like, absolutely. I mean,
go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, just like back in the day when mobs would get together, I mean, they would literally rip a person apart, you know,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
and the mob mentality is not one to take lightly.
yeah.
Um, you know, when a couple people start foaming at the mouth, and you know they get a group behind them, and you know all kinds of things are possible. So that right there was kind of a scary moment at that moment,
Yeah.
but we got through it, and it hasn't happened since. But I mean that's a real possibility when we
Were
go
you
into
by
these
yourself?
buildings. No, I had Dr. Sean Barry was with me, and then we
Okay.
had James Madison running down low. Most people don't even realize that he was in that video, but
Yeah.
he was like incognito throughout the whole video,
Especially when the
trying to
whole
blend in.
DMV's manager, guys, he's like, let me hide my camera somewhere. Because you got to think,
Yep.
nobody likes going to the DMV. And now you got to go to the DMV, wait in line. The state workers treat you terribly. And now here comes in three guys with camera, and they're shutting the place down, and they got to leave. Oh, you know, people that might have one or two or three things to say to you while they're walking out. And now you got to be in the parking lot with these people, right? And it is a mob mentality.
Right. Right.
Right.
Well, they cleared the whole building out because a gentleman had said that he would put his foot in my ass, and I told him it was a stand your ground state. And what I was trying to illustrate in that also, but not a lot of people got, was in a lot of these instances where people aren't thinking, you know, if I'm out in public and I make a threat like that publicly, and especially when someone's recording it. Now, let's say just for example that I'm an asshole and I didn't like the guy, and I'm a cold-blooded killer, you know, or whatever. And dude
Yeah.
made that threat to me, and I've got it on video. All I have to do now is go outside, wait for him to go to his truck, walk behind him, tap him on the shoulder. When he turns around, shoot him in the gut. And I can use stand your ground. If there's no witnesses to that, I can use stand your ground. Hey, this guy threatened me inside. He caught me outside. I was walking in between the truck. I didn't know it was his truck. You know, I turned around. He was reaching to, you know, hit me or whatever, and I shot him. You know,
Oh
so there's a
yeah,
lot of
yeah. Maybe
instances.
he's reaching to hit you, but the narrative that you follow behind him, tap him on the shoulder, and he turns around to shoot him. I don't know that you'd win that
Well,
one.
right? No, that would be the real scenario. But the scenario that you would give, like you remember when that guy got pushed to
Okay.
the ground and he shot the guy over the parking spot. You know what I mean? He
Yeah.
tried to put a
Yeah.
different
Yeah.
narrative on it, but we figured out his narrative. But he also
Was
didn't
that
have
Florida?
video footage of the guy 5 minutes ago threatening him either. You know?
Was that Florida?
No, I
Was
don't
that
think it
was that?
was. I
Yeah.
don't. No, I think
Because
yeah, it might have been.
Florida's unique in their stand your ground case that was really big in what case was that? The George Zimmerman case, in which, and what is it basically? It's basically if there's an imminent threat in front of you, you don't have your first choice doesn't have to be to flee. You can stand your ground and protect yourself with everything up to lethal weaponry. Is that what it is? Am I correct by saying that?
No, you're absolutely right, and that kind of definition can leave it open to a lot of tomfoolery. So I just think it was something that needed to be looked at, especially after the George Zimmerman case, which again I completely believe that he had set that whole thing up and never should have been, you know, allowed to use that defense. But
Yeah.
you know, I think it empowers people that, you know, if nothing else, I could just shoot somebody, you know,
Yeah.
because I could stand my ground. So that gives a lot of people a lot of what I would consider to be liquid courage. You know what I mean? Courage in the moment, courage to do
Yeah.
stuff I wouldn't normally do, like confront somebody who's not really doing anything wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep. 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 Uh, yeah, I put the Facebook. So I know all you guys cannot get on the street. I understand that people have jobs. They have 9 to 5s. I sincerely believe that people live vicariously through me. Right? They want to tell their boss "f you" and rogue. They want to tell the cop this and this and that. But they can't because they got a wife and 3 kids to feed. It just so happens I didn't want to do this. My first video was the video where they pulled me out of my car because they said I threw a weapon underneath my seat, which was complete baloney, right? I had just opened up a business. I was going to pick up a couple of African-American kids to hand out my menus. It was nothing going to be but 3 or 4 hours and like $9 an hour, $10 an hour. So $40, nothing. But the first time I went there, I asked the kid if he had a friend. The whole block ran to my car. It was like a zombie movie. Like grown men were there. They're like, you got work, you got work. I didn't, it was 1 day, 2 days for $10 an hour for 4 hours. But I knew it was more, a lot more important to those people than it would be to anybody in my community. So I didn't, it's only 10, 15 minutes away. Chicago is very segregated from me. So I went and picked them up, and I was going to pick them up that day, and the narcs pulled me over. And there's things you just got to know. When the narcs pull you over, they're not pulling you over for a seatbelt, right? That's the pretextual stop, right? That's the pretext because they need probable cause to pull you over. So they use seatbelt because seatbelt could be a primary infraction in Illinois. You only need seatbelt. In a lot of states, it's a secondary infraction. In Illinois, it's a primary infraction. And he pulls up, and he's on the side of my car. Now, in order to get me out of that car because of a weapon, he has to believe that I'm armed, but not only that I'm armed. That's only one element of it. If he just believes I'm armed, we have a Second Amendment right to bear arms, so I'm good. He has to believe I'm dangerous. I'm armed, and I'm willing to use it against him. He came up to my car. He put his whole weight on my car, put his hands on my car window. He took my ID like this, and he put it in his hand with both fingers, looking at it like this. Now you're standing with every major vital organ in my window. You're 6 inches away from a guy that you believe has a weapon and is going to use it against you. And you got both hands on my license looking down like this. You haven't touched your gun once. Like, who are you kidding? We all know how cops do it. They'll stand by their car with their doors open because they're bulletproof, and they'll walk you out of your car, take the keys, put them out of the vehicle, drop them. So I knew that wasn't the case, and I got so mad because I'm like, I know my rights. They're not going to be able to get me out of this car. And that there's a couple of things you could say. A, I smell weed, or I think you threw something underneath the seat. You understand what I'm saying? That you really can't beat. Unless you have, if you have every part of your car covered like I do now, I could beat that one. But the I smell weed has always been the go-to because you can't beat it, right?
Yeah, no, exactly. But now with legal weed, I mean, that might be possible are you guys in Illinois, right?
Yeah, we're in Illinois, but it's kind of a border sketchy thing because
you're not supposed to smoke in your car while you're driving.
Yeah, well, you can't. Yeah, you can't. It's got to come in the original packaging. It's got to be in the original packaging, unopened. So, like a beer, if you went and got a 6-pack, and the cops pulled you over and it smelled like beer, and now it's only a 4-pack, that's a problem. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know about it enough because I don't smoke. So I don't know about it enough, but I think that's the way that would go. But like I said, I never meant to get into this. So they pull me over, and they pull me out the car, and there's a dramatic scene with me and Opedisano, where I go, "Get out of my car." She goes, "You don't know the law." I go, "Yes, I do." She goes, "You don't know the law." I go, "It's a Supreme Court case, Terry versus Ohio, 1968, that set precedent for the Fourth Amendment to the Constitution. Do you know what the Fourth Amendment to the Constitution is? I don't have to tell you anything. Do you know what the Fourth Amendment to the Constitution is? I don't have to tell you anything. Illegal search and seizure. Get the fuck out of my car." Now, the reason why that resonated with so many people is because I was not Googling Terry versus Ohio when I was going to pick up these guys right before they got me a seatbelt ticket. I wasn't Googling what a cursory search is. When I tell him you're only allowed to do a cursory search, he's like, I'm doing a protective pat down. I'm like, it's the same thing. But you initially put your hand in my pocket until I said something. So I think why things resonate with people, because people have to go to work. They have to support a family. They can't do what we do. You know what I'm saying? It's just not feasible. And it wasn't feasible for me my whole life. It just so happened to be something I fell into. You know?
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
Yeah. Yeah. But that leads to this, and then I'll wrap it up. So you guys, we have 5 liberties the First Amendment affords us. One is to redress grievances to your government. I put the phone number and the Facebook of that police department. You guys can't go out there and film and do all that other stuff, whatever, but you can redress your government, and we need you to. And that's the one thing I always loved about my subscribers and the people in this community. They've always backed me up. When I said, listen, I said one time, make sure, I let all my moderators know. I went into one of the districts. I said, when I say make them dance, make all those phones start ringing. And they started ringing. And when I went to the 17th with AFA over auditing Chicago, those phones started going crazy. And the sergeant it was funny because the sergeant didn't want to talk to us, didn't want to have nothing to do with us. And then he's got a phone in each hand. And he goes to Josh, he goes, wait, aren't you gonna, he says something. He goes, you didn't want to talk to me 2 minutes ago. Now you want my help? Figure it out. And he walked out. But that's, I think that's basically what it is. People want to live vicariously. They see a lot of the shine is going off the police officer. Wouldn't you say that? A lot of the shine is going off the police officer since everybody's got a camera in their pocket.
Yeah, I would say that.
A lot of white people, no longer just the minorities. The minorities always knew, but white people said no. They don't do anything to anybody. No, but
yep.
Anything
part of that authority.
Yeah. Anything else that you're promoting, Rogue? Anything else you want to talk about?
No, just the fact that, again, we're going to be doing the iPhones and the Android phone platforms coming up soon for Activism News Network. And, the more people that subscribe to that platform, the more we're all going to be able to do. I mean, together, all the activists on the platform collectively, we have about 1 million subscribers.
Yeah.
If we could transfer those subscribers to,
go ahead.
If we could transfer those subscribers to Activism News Network, there would be an unstoppable force of, activism, of transparency. I mean, us being able to, when something like this happens here in Kellen, Texas, being able to hop a plane within 3 to 4 hours to Kellen, Texas, and being on the ground, you know what I mean? And getting in there, and being able to, just show up at the police department and say, I want everybody's personnel files, because I've got that kind of money. I've got that kind of backing. I'm going to find out, we need that.
Yeah, that's crazy you say that, because I got a huge story coming out of Orlando. Hey, I need to stop this because I need this to be around about 45 minutes. Do you mind talking about, you just got arrested recently. In fact, a lot of the ANN guys got arrested recently in a certain town. Do you want to come back and talk about that? I just want to cut this short because if it's 2 hours, no one's going to watch it.
Yeah.
Could you come back and talk about it for like 10 or 15 minutes? Or do you want to or no?
Yeah, that'll be fun. Yeah, that's good.
Okay, so I'm going to end this, guys, right now, and then I'm going to come right back up.